Hello. Welcome back in this wonderful, wonderful series called Just Enough. This is the place where I'm presenting you with just enough information to hopefully spark some inspiration and, most importantly, believe that you can be the doer in your own right. Today's topic will be the very so mystified process called creative process. By the way, thank you so much for joining me in for the second time. Respect. Will be divided in these two parts. So the first one will be about more of the a psychological side of the creative process and the challenges. And for that, I'll need a little help from my ultimate inspiration and hopefully a very good friend in the future, Kanye West. The second part will be rather technical. It will be more of the actual clear steps that all of us can take to get the train going. Psychological challenges. The first one would be opinion of others and lack of encouragement. Even Kanye struggles. Seriously, what the fuck? What are we left with then? What kind of struggle is that? Here it is what he has to say about the initial lack of support and especially those people that are so quick to write you off and label.
I end up funding the entire, thing myself because it's too abstract of a concept for anyone to, put their finger on. The voice will eventually get out there. And I believe that, so many people are just so fucking obvious. They don't even realize that when they box me in or try to verbally put me in some type of box or put Donda in a box, that they're really showing their level of ignorance. They're putting themselves in a box. And, people can write all they want, but what are people doing? And if there's anybody that's out there doing, they know how hard it is to actually do.
Exactly. Oh my God. You see, they can write what they want, but what are they actually doing? And those that are doing, they definitely understand how hard it is. And so then there's almost no place for judgment. Second psychological struggle would be in doubting your own abilities. For this one, Kanye also has an answer. This one was particularly interesting because when I heard it, I was giggling inside and my inner child was just jumping over the beds from the excitement that actually there are people that are matching our wavelength. So here is what he has to say about doubting your own abilities.
I am more of a visual artist and more of a product person. I am a producer. I am a production of me. I thought, it's not like I was the best rapper in the world or something, I sat around and thought about it and then became Kanye West.
See, you don't even have to be the best. And that's the craziest thing about it. It's mostly just a mind game. Just a mind game. So you see how the tables turn, yeah? When you listen to Kanye, he has answers to all of your problems. So this point kind of intimately touches my own world, maybe. The third one is that positivity is frowned upon by the real artists. So here we are.
It's crazy that we live in a world that if you're super positive and super creative, that it's scary. So what does that tell you about the mentality of most people? If you're scared of positivity and creativity, I have no intent to do anything negative to anyone. I only want, more positive things to happen by combining, the forces of creativity or the combining or, breaking down the classes.
Of course, I'm very glad that mental health is being pushed so much to the front and we're actually finally talking about the things that actually matter. And that me or Kanye, we never take mental health lightly. Yet I'm also finding it a little bit bizarre that there is this continuous focus on negative emotions and the experience of them. It's when people start to focus so much on the negative experiences, on all the pain that they've been through, and it becomes like almost like a predominant emotion socially. As in, like, being happy, carefree, wild is almost rendered as something fake or manufactured. I understand that Instagram is doing like a shit favor for normal people, because it is the case where happiness is very much manufactured or just artificially generated. But we shouldn't be confused, because our hostility toward, happiness, lightness of life is surrendering some sort of like a crazy and almost perverted belief that raw and real art can come only from the place of despair and pain. And trust me, my soul is closely intertwined with the great Russian soul. I do appreciate when art sometimes comes from that dark place of lack and despair and misery. So I understand the principle at its very core. Yet, my gut and my heart is saying that it's about time to move on. I think there are other ways, methods to be creating. Pain is a cheap drug. You can always bring it upon yourself or onto somebody else. There will always be reasons to doubt yourself and suffer. Pain will help you to calm down, to sit down, to concentrate, to pour your heart out onto the medium, whatever you're using to create. Yet, I'm not into cheap drugs, nor am I into drugs at all. There are so many steps to be taken on the ladder of reaching your greatest potential that dealing with your pain and leaving that suffering behind or making it manageable is just the beginning of the journey. Obviously, whatever I've just said has been said millions of times, and it's not exactly my input. So my input would be this. Maybe it is time to focus on artistry itself and innovation. Also, at least for me, what I found is that if I notice that I am getting kind of like consistently anxious and I'm like, oh my God, you're so often anxious. What the is wrong with you, girl? And then I'm realizing that, girl, you're just so self-absorbed. How about you remove the focus from yourself onto somebody else, huh? Enough of being these that are so individualistic and so in love with their own asses. Maybe it's time to turn the mirror. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. So let's move on to the second part. So the second part will be about, as I said, it's going to be so much more functional. It's going to be about the actual creative process. And this one will be divided into 5 parts. I'll just assume that we're talking about this hypothetical person that has never, ever, ever tried to create anything. Okay? For whatever reason, it doesn't matter. The things that he or she would have to go through, the first step would be to gather new material. It's very simple. It's almost like uni work. Just read about what other people have done in that field, what other people have done similar but in other fields. It's just plain work. It's easy, isn't it? So even creating is just literally researching life. It's like, it's like the creative work is almost like a life's university. You got to do your research and no one's going to push you, but you're going to get a bad mark at the end of it if you don't study well. So the first point is just to get into the details, find out what's the general pool of the information, what's happening, what eras we're talking about, what eras could be mixed, whatever your heart is saying, what your gut is saying. So many things are just unbelievable coincidences. And sometimes when you're studying this one thing and you have no idea why you're even doing this, and then you're opening this one page out of like 600, and suddenly you see that one thing that you fall in love with. This shit is fucking magic and it's destiny and it can't be any other way. But like you won't be able to experience this wonderful feeling of like, shit, I'm so connected to the universe. You won't be able to experience that unless you actually do it. And to do it is you need to sit down and gather new material. Yeah? No expectations, no nothing. Second part. Thoroughly work over the material in your mind. So whatever you've been studying, at some point you can be like, you know what? I think I'm actually done. It's either you actually finish the book or you just like, you know what? There is enough for me to start doing something. And even then, it doesn't mean that you have to go and create. You can just, take a walk, take a shower, blah, blah, all these things that people, tend to do, like drive and stuff, to just play around, take drugs. No, I'm joking. But just kind of play around with the new concepts, what is coming up with in your mind related to that concept that you've been just studying. Like, how is that related to your life? How are you seeing these that your friend might not be seeing that? It's just, you are so free. It's like ultimate freedom. You're so free to just arrange the narrative, arrange the story, arrange your life, arrange the information that you've learned, whichever way you want. And the craziest thing is that there's no right way to arrange it. Like, no right way. It's like you could be potentially the one that sets the right way. Oh my God. Crazy. So the third step is stepping away from the problem. Imagine that, like you're on the third step of creating out of 5 steps and you haven't even started creating anything yet. How great is that, right? Yeah. That's the point, because creativity is not just that one specific moment when you sit down and you write the amazing and brilliant thing, because it needs to cook until you pour it out. Of course, you can inject yourself with pain and misery and just like self-sabotage yourself, and then you will vomit something and hopefully that will strike a chord and people will cry and it's going to be amazing. But then there are other ways, and I'm presenting one of them. So the third one is to step away. So what you've been doing right now, you were just researching, you were thinking about it in depth. Yeah. And then you just step out of it and let your brain to do the cooking. It's the oven. Yeah. And it just cooks and does its own thing. And you go and you do an entirely different thing. Like unrelated, amazing, beautiful life. Mwah, 10 out of 10. But then comes the fourth step. The fourth step, when you feel also, again, that's a key of being always accountable to yourself, for yourself, and always being kind of like just and fair and not slacking. Obviously, self-discipline is a huge factor in this one. But when you feel, because you just release it and it's like a boomerang, like, spinning around, gathering information, whatever, and then it just comes back to you. And at some point it comes back to you, but you feel it. Very often you do feel that it's almost back, and you gotta sit down and now do the actual dirty work. But sometimes you just ignore it and think maybe it's not the day, I don't feel motivated, blah, blah, blah. But then, no. If you feel like you're kind of like, you got it, you have to sit down and just grind. Work so hard, like so hard. Hard work. So you work all this time, and then the fifth step would be you just release it. Then whatever, you've been working on this, and I don't know how long, like it depending on what you're working on. If it's a movie, it might be even 2 years, but whatever you're doing, at some point you will be almost done or kind of done. Don't go about all that, oh, I want it to be perfect. Are you crazy? 2021, you can't be living in this fucking classicist life. No. Perfect, forget the shit. No. We are talking about just releasing, getting the feedback, and getting better, okay? Because that's the way to learn. Because there's so many lost lessons from a work that has been overdragged. Here we are. I think we're done with these 5 steps. I have so much more in my script, but I'm realizing that the video again is gonna be really, really long. So I'm not doing this to myself. So if you chose to be a creator and if you chose to be a doer, the only last advice I can give you is don't half-ass it.